Yes, Your Honor. I would just like to say to the family and friends of Paul DeWolf that, again, I am extremely sorry for their loss. I know words don't really, do anything at this point. I wish I could take it back, but at this point, I would just like to tell them, that, it would always impact me on what has happened to their son and their friend, and I just pray that they are able to find comfort in their lives somehow and continue to go on. That's all.
It seems heartfelt. It's always a curious circumstance when the court is at this point in the proceedings. Certainly not about me, but I always feel entirely helpless in situations like this, particularly for all the people who've suffered. And you wish you could take it back. I'm sure Mr. DeWolf's family does that as well. I can't imagine the agony of the victim's family. It is both sad and shameful that a man loses his life for doing the right things, and that these are the events that define mine. No truer words are said. That does define your life. Obviously, what you do over these next few decades, until you're eventually released from the Department of Corrections, maybe you'll be able to do something that will further define your life. But I think about the other things you said in this statement, and I wonder on July 22nd of 2013, if you thought about that, how different your life and everyone else's would be. This was a moment where I showed my ignorance and horrible judgment, because common sense would have told me that it was very possible Franklin had his gun and someone can get hurt, but instead we all became increasingly bold in our acts and entered the room in which someone was accidentally shot and killed. Parties have entered into a sentence agreement, and I believe the sentence agreement is appropriate. It is an agreement that I agree to follow. Therefore, Mr. Jones, it is the sentence of the court in count 2 that you serve 95 months to 20 years in the Michigan Department of Corrections, credit for 411 days served, that you pay a $68 state cost. As to count 3, that again you serve 95 months to 20 years in the Michigan Department of Corrections, credit for 411 days served, concurrent with count 2, 4, and 5, and pay a $68 state cost. As to count 4, it's the further sentence of the court that you serve 95 months to 20 years in the Michigan Department of Corrections, again credit for 411 days served, concurrent with counts 2, 3, and 6, and pay a $68 state cost. And lastly, as to count 6, that you serve 25 years to 50 years in the Michigan Department of Corrections, again credit for 411 days served, concurrent with counts 2, 3, and 4, that you pay a $68 state cost, $130 crime victims assessment fee, restitution in the amount of $12,630.63 jointly and severally with your co-defendants. Condition number 4, the court will strike. At this time, the court will also dismiss counts 1 and 5. Mr. Jones, you do have the right to file an appeal of these sentences. In such an appeal, you have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, the court will appoint an attorney to represent you at public expense. You have 42 days to make that request. You are remanded to the Washington County Jail for processing and transport to the Michigan Department of Corrections. Anything else, Mr. Feifels?
Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Wansworth, anything for the people?
Nothing further.
Court will stand in recess for a few minutes.